Are your weapons loaded? Shoelaces tied? Have a good day out there. Remember to not drink the milk.
Hi, I'm Ready, and it's been quite a while since I've been on here making one of these kinds of videos, but you know, I say that every single time I make one of these, and every single time after that, it's another 3 or 4 years until I make another one, but we're back again, baby. So, how's everybody doing? I know it's been a little while, and we haven't really had any chats on this channel. I've got basically a whole entire year's worth of streams up on another channel, youtube.com/ReadyVod. Not trying to plug that, but you know, convenient timing for that. The streams are at a standstill at the moment, we'll say. But, you know, I guess that's kind of a topic of conversation for today is like, if you found this channel from my other channel, or if you've been watching me for any amount of time, going all the way back to 2008 up until now, whether you've watched me on my old channel, this channel, the next one, the million ones that'll come after it. I always have a million ideas in my head, and I have more even floating around now that some of the old test footage that I've had lying around on my hard drive has been getting decent amount of views actually, which is quite surprising. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about stuff like that in particular, because those are just loosies that have been put up online, and I can't really have any kind of attachment to them because there is no follow through on that stuff. And so if you've seen those videos that have come up in the past couple of days, or whenever you're watching this, a couple of days before this video was recorded, which today is, let's check, today is July 2nd, 2024, not to date this, but we'll see when this video goes up. But that Burnout Paradise video kind of shot up in views while I was asleep today, and it's very confusing. I don't know why YouTube is recommending it, and I don't know why people are clicking on it, because I specifically put in the title, Burnout Paradise, you know, video essay demo footage, June 2020. This is a 4-year-old video, 4 years old. And it's a minute long, and it's just one bit of commentary with some very basic cut edits in a timeline, basically, to some music. But I don't know. I guess there's a desire for it, so I guess my real problem with that is there could be follow through, but for some reason, I think it's OBS, or rather Streamlabs OBS, because I drank the Kool-Aid and I use Streamlabs OBS rather than just OBS Studio. OBS crashes Burnout Paradise Remastered. Because for those of you that don't know, Burnout Paradise uses your webcam, or back in the day, your Xbox Live Vision cam, or your PS3, whatever cam they called it, the iCam, I forget what they called it. Doesn't matter. So it uses that as a picture on your driver's license. Super cool feature. I really, really like it. And when you crash with people online, or you get in specific game modes where you crash with people online, it takes a picture the moment you get in the crash. And like, yeah, that's subject to abuse, but also it comes from a slightly more innocent time of the internet, before everybody was 4chan brained and everything was sex all the time. And like, yeah, there was a lot of sex back in the day on the internet, don't get me wrong, it's not like there was any less than there is now, but it seems like there has been a much more sex-minded focus shift in the internet over the past, I'd say, 5 years or so. I don't know what particularly spurred it on, and like I'm here for it, you know. I'm a sex positive person, and I'm here for it, but like I don't know particularly where it came from, and it's slightly confusing. All that is to say that OBS crashes Burnout Paradise whenever I try to launch it. I know, long-winded story to get to a very simple point, but if you've been watching for any amount of time, you know that's exactly how this goes, and you shouldn't be surprised. In fact, it should be what you're expecting at this point, because if that's not what you get, oh boy, something's terribly wrong, and I am heavily medicated. Which, on that topic, actually, that was something I wanted to discuss today. Going back to the streams. For anybody that has found this video from the Readi VOD channel or the I'm Ready Twitch channel, I always forget what it's called. Some places don't call it channels, some places call it pages. It's a Twitch page, whatever. For those of you that have come from there to here, or those of you who are just trying to figure out what's going on with Caleb, hey, how's he doing? What's going on with him? We haven't heard from him in a while. I hope things are going all right. Things are going let's say. Things are going So, to shed light on things, I don't want to reveal everything, and you know, my life isn't an open book, but I do try to share things with people. I've shared this on Twitter at least, so people know it, and I've said it in other videos on the other channel. I'm bipolar. I have bipolar 2. To most people, bipolar just means, hey, I'm happy at noon, and then at 1 p.m. I'm sad, and then at 2 p.m. I'm happy again, and then at 3 p.m. I'm sad again. And it's this vicious cycle, and oh my gosh, and you can't trust this person because their emotions are never in check, and they don't have control over themselves, and you can't blame them for their actions, but also they should know better, and it's all this confusing stuff. All that is to say, things have been going kind of weird, and a lot of it ties back to my bipolar. And my bipolar, and also I have OCD. So those two are like this vicious fighting lion and eagle inside of a cage, just taking swings at each other as one goes for the throat and the other one goes for the eyes. And it's a match for the ages, and we'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need the edge. Like, you could write a whole damn show about somebody with bipolar and OCD and have it never be a dull episode, because there's always some kind of fun, intrusive thought going on in their head. And in my particular case, over the past month, and even further on before that, way further on before that, this has been going on for a while. And like I've been trying to get the streams going again for a bit, and I haven't been in the right mental place. And like even this video, I've been recording this commentary for about 2 hours on and off, and we're only, what, 6 or something minutes in, 7 minutes in, something like that. So things have been very disjointed in my head. And what I should say in regards to the bipolar is that yes, people don't have full cognizant control of their actions while they're having an episode. And yes, we aren't fully aware of everything that we're doing in the moment, but we're still responsible for our actions in the meantime. So if I get fired from work, or I lose all of my followers on Twitch and YouTube because I haven't been streaming in a month, 2 months, in regards to both work and, you know, social media life, like I can't be surprised or be shocked or be upset when those things go south for me, because those are the consequences of my own actions. And yes, I suppose I could be upset with the fact that I have a mental disability and it's keeping me from performing to my highest level of action. But I guess the best way I had it put to me was by my mother. And I don't like to sound like a mama's boy, you know. I probably am when it comes down to it. I'm a bit of a mama's boy. But, you know, my mother has a particular degree of knowledge in psychiatric fields. She went to school for it. She's a very smart person, and I look to her for these things in times of need. And she relayed to me, hey, you know, Caleb, look, if you had cancer, and I know this is an extreme example, but we actually just went through a bout of this in our family, so it's present on our minds. If you went through cancer, you wouldn't be blaming yourself for that. And sure, you could blame yourself for external factors, X, Y, and Z, smoking, diet, this, that, exercise. You can always blame yourself for everything, but you wouldn't be able to fully blame yourself. And in the case of this mental disability, you have to take that same mentality, because it's basically cancer of the brain. And I you know, knock on wood. Actually, that was knock on metal. Knock on wood. You know, hopefully those that I love and myself, we don't ever have to deal with those things, knock on wood again, because holy crap, that stuff is really stressful to deal with, and it's really hard to go through. As is, I guess, what I'm trying to say, being bipolar, and not in the same way, not to the same degree. Don't think I'm comparing them in that way at all. I completely understand that there is a huge line in the sand to be drawn between something like cancer and a mental disability. Totally understand. I'm not trying to make that full comparison, but as far as having empathy for myself and trying to have empathy for others that are in my same situation, you sometimes have to have that mindset and take a step back and go, oh, okay, so like I was born like this and I don't have a choice, you know? And at a certain point, yes, you still have to take responsibility for your own actions, but also, not to say that things aren't your fault. I don't know how to word this. This is a very tricky thing to kind of word, because I'm fully cognizant of the fact that I'm responsible for my own actions. And I made this point of, if I was dating somebody and in the midst of a manic episode, I decided it would be a good idea to cheat on that person, I'm not making a fully cognizant and smart, rational decision in that moment. But once it all calms down, it comes back to reality, I've still cheated on that person. And it doesn't matter how many degrees of bad episode I was going through, those actions still have consequences. And I hope that particular example helps give people an understanding of what I'm trying to say. And I guess what else I'm trying to say in regard to that is, and I know this sounds crazy coming from the person who just spent the past, 3-4 minutes explaining how somebody doesn't fully have control of themselves when they're bipolar and they have manic episodes. But I do want people to understand that yes, we lose some amount of inhibition control and we lose some amount of lucidity with the world, but we're still human in that moment. And we're still able to think. And I think that's a big thing that people don't understand in regards to people who have these kind of mental break episodes, or these manic episodes, or psychotic episodes, whatever you would like to call them, whatever your preferred term is that I know I've always had it, and I have it much more now that I'm pretty medicated. There's always a screaming part of your brain telling you, hey, this is not right. And I'm not speaking for everybody that's bipolar. This is my own specific situation. But this has actually come up as a topic of conversation amongst myself and my peers over the past couple of weeks. Because a couple of people that I know are either pregnant or trying to get pregnant. And the topic has been broached by myself. You know, I'm a pretty self-centered person, so I like to get information on things about myself. But the topic has been broached of, hey, could we let Readi, Caleb, you know, whatever you prefer to call me, yes, you know, could we let him watch our child? And I've asked that question to the two groups that either have or are expecting to hopefully soon have a child on the way. And I guess I should probably ask the third group as well that currently has a child here. You know, get a real full survey of the group. But the one group has stated, your Uncle Caleb, you know, I don't think anything would be different. You know, if you were or weren't bipolar, we'd let you around the child the same, your Uncle Caleb. And the other group, and I love both of these groups. I love everybody as much as I possibly can. All of my friends have been there for me in the most dire situations. And this isn't me like airing dirty laundry. This is just a discussion of where my mental state is at and like things I've been coming to terms with. But the other group stated pretty bluntly that at least one of the members of that group stated that they believe I, as a bipolar person, probably have about a 5% chance of killing their child on any given day. Which to me, that percentage sounds wild, absolutely insane. But I didn't know what to say back in that moment, aside from like, sure. Because I don't agree with that. Because there is still always that rational part of my brain that is screaming at me. And the example that was brought up was, hey, you might be watching my child on a hot day, and totally possible. I could be watching a child on a hot day, a very hot day. I think the example given was it could be 100 plus outside, which isn't particularly common where I live, but it's a possibility. And that if I wanted to, I could get into my head, hey, I want to go get ice cream. Me and the kid, let's go get ice cream. And then I pop the kid in the car, and then in the process of going from point A to point B, I begin the midst of a manic episode, and I lose cognitive rational control, and I leave the kid in the car. And like, that's totally possible. That is like, I road rage. Like, the possibility of me having a manic episode from point A to point B is a non-zero chance. And you folks can't see me, but I'm doing a lot of talking with my hands right now. But I don't think the chance is 5%. I think that's a bit high. I don't know. That's just me. But I don't know. I have a lot of days and a lot of trips to the car and to and from places where things are perfectly fine. So hearing that from my friends has really made me consider, like, is this disability that I have much more intense than I give it any credit for? And I guess the conclusion I've come to myself is no. I think that particular view on my situation and my disease, my mental disease, is irrational, but it's also founded in the consequences of my actions, because I haven't always been rational. And I guess, I don't know. The point I've been trying to make is that don't fully dismiss somebody with bipolar or any other mental disability just because they have that. Like, there's still a person inside of there, but you can also still be cognizant and reticent of the fact that, yeah, that mental disability is going to challenge and change that person for the rest of their life. And I guess I'm at a very odd crossroads where I have to decide, am I going to be defined by this mental illness, or am I not going to be defined by this mental illness? And I sadly think it's going to slowly become, I am defined by this mental illness, because I'm having to put in disability claims at work, and I'm having to ask for accommodations, and things are changing in my life, and I might have to move back home. Like, there's a lot going on because of my mental disability that I never gave a lot of forethought to until it came to light. Yeah. I don't know. I guess all that is to say, hey, trust the people with mental diseases. Like, we're not bad people. I don't think I have a 5%, or maybe not trust people with mental diseases or mental disabilities. That's a really broad, encompassing phrase. But, like, give them a little bit of a path, a little bit of leeway. Like, don't just dismiss them outright, because I would love to watch my friends' kids. I wanted kids multiple points over the past couple of years, and the situation has just worked out that I didn't have them. And it makes me sad, but you know, that's just a matter of fact, and that's where we're at in life, and I gotta come to terms with it. So, you know, I wouldn't mind watching my friends' kids, but we'll see if that time ever comes. Anyway, I appreciate your time today. I know that's been a lot of rambling. We will have more discussions soon, I'm sure of it. And I always say that, and then there's one more video, and then I disappear. So it'll probably be one more video, and then I'll disappear. But for now, I really appreciate your time. I hope you have enjoyed this return to the commentary game from myself, and you have gained at least a little bit of knowledge from today's proceedings. If not knowledge, then a little bit of insight, something. You know, a little bit of something, and you've had some entertainment along the way. So, thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.